is enough said.
What's up, Heat Nation? Your boy Ernest here, back with another Miami Heat Talk video, guys. We really appreciate the support. Do not forget to like, share, and subscribe as we continue our push for 6,000 subscribers. Now, please join me as we go on another Miami Heat Talk adventure. Before we get started, you guys, I just wanted to take a moment to thank everybody. After I gave you guys a heads up that I was under the weather for the last few days, that's the reason why I wasn't able to post an episode. You guys were in the comments giving me some great support, and honestly, I didn't really expect that. So it really meant a lot to me. You know, a lot of people were wishing me positive health, positive lifestyle. A lot of you were saying you love me. I mean, bro, when I started this channel, man, it was just for fun. For those of you that remember, I fractured my elbow a few years ago in a wrestling show. So I was out for 6 months, and I actually used that time to just go huge into this channel. And especially with the Damian Lillard offseason, with the trade request of the Miami Heat, I was able to grow this channel to be semi-successful. And I mean, like I said, you know, it's because of you guys. And I don't mean to get too personal, but I always like to share positivity on this channel, you guys. I know there's so many other Miami Heat channels to watch, and I wish everybody nothing but success and great support. But I feel like I'm a little bit different because I always try to keep things with a glass half full and a positive perspective. That's just because how I try to live my life. And I've gone through so much in my life where it's kind of led me to have no choice other than be positive. And I'm also married to an incredible woman that just boosts that mindset for me. I love you, babe. But there's been people on this channel, and I'm not going to name names, but some of you that have written me some personal requests, you know, personal messages, on social media, where you're like on the edge of staying here, and you watch my channel and the positivity just gets to you. There's been a few of you that have told me that, and you have no idea what that means to me. So the fact that I go a few days without cutting an episode if I'm sick or something like that kills me, because I like to share positivity with you guys. And I'm sorry for the little, long little thing there, but I just feel like somebody needed to hear that. You know, I'm almost at 6,000 subscribers. So if that helps just one of you, then I'm doing my job. And let's be honest, 58% of you that watch this channel ain't subscribed, so sure, it's way more. But don't forget to subscribe. Now, this episode, you guys, I kind of want to piggyback from yesterday's episode because I went a little bit different. You know, I was talking about the possibility of moving Tyler Hero and Bam Adebayo. And the reason why I'm saying that, you guys, is mainly because we know that this Miami Heat team are going to have 3 different options this offseason. You know, they can go for a whale, try to trade for a Giannis Antetokounmpo, Kevin Durant, Ja Morant, Trae Young, something like that. You could run it back with this same team because of the cap flexibility that you can have after 2026. Run it back for 1 more year, see what Tyler and Bam do. I think it'll be anywhere from 38 to 42 wins. Get another play-in run. Maybe you can win a few more games and get out of the play-in. Who knows? You know, another year together of this team with Spo, fully healthy, maybe can win you some extra games. Or you could do a full rebuild. Trade Bam and Tyler. Try to get as much draft capital back as you have. But another thing that's going to happen, you guys, when I mentioned trading for Tyler and Bam, a lot of teams are going to look at the Miami Heat with the Jimmy Butler situation, with Pat Riley getting older, and Eric Spoelstra making blunders of mistakes as a coach this year. They might look at it as their opportunity to strike, their opportunity to go after our players. And I've been talking a lot about the Miami Heat trading for Giannis and trading for Durant, and trading for this guy and trading for that guy. We haven't talked about the other opposite, where players and teams are trying to contact us to make some trades. And there's been buzz going on the last few days that the Los Angeles Lakers have interest in trading for Bam Adebayo. And this has actually been going a little crazy on social media. There was a social media post. I'm not going to name the name because I just honestly think it's such a BS trade offer, but has over 1 million views. And the proposed trade is between the Los Angeles Lakers and the Miami Heat. Now, before I say this trade offer, for those of you that are going to get in my comments and are going to say that's a BS trade, Ernest, we should never do that. I agree. I agree. I think this is crap, but we got to talk about it here, you guys, because this is insane. Okay. So here's what the trade offer says. This is from Sports Illustrated. They posted about this. So the Los Angeles Lakers would get Bam Adebayo, right? And then the Miami Heat would get Austin Reeves, Gabe Vincent, Jared Vanderbilt, and Dalton Connect. No draft picks. Hell no. Like, it's not even a no, it's a hell no. Now look, I'll say this. For a rebuilding structure, that does make a lot of sense. Like, for a team that's rebuilding, when I look at the contracts, and I'm going on a different screen right now, but when I look at the contracts, you guys, if you're rebuilding, a trade like this does make a lot of sense. Because Austin Reeves, making almost $13 million, making almost $14 million next season, has a player option for the following year. Jared Vanderbilt, averaging about $11 to $13 million every year. Gabe Vincent, 11 to 11.5, and then Dalton Connect getting about $4 to $9 million. On paper, I mean, if you're rebuilding, that makes sense. But why the hell would you make this trade if it doesn't include draft picks? I said this yesterday. Bam Adebayo, you guys, is way more valuable than this. And I know Heat fans and every other person's going to be like, this is a BS trade. And like I said, I agree. Bam Adebayo, you guys, the only way I'm moving Bam is if it's a minimum of 4 first-round draft picks. And I say minimum because I want more. Bam Adebayo, you guys, is I'm not going to say once in a lifetime player, but he's a very special player. And I know I've seen people in my comments say things like, oh, Bam Adebayo's like another Udonis Haslem. I've never seen Udonis Haslem average almost 20 points per game in the NBA. At best, Haslem's averaged about 10 to 11 points a game, 10 rebounds. Haslem's a dog. One of the most respected Miami Heat players of all time, and that'll never change. But Bam Adebayo, you guys, has upgraded his offense. And I know it's not to the point that we all want, but the dude averages about anywhere from 16 to 20 points per game every year since the 2020 season. He's been an all-star twice. He's been a lead runner for Defensive Player of the Year every year. And Bam Adebayo is a player that if you implement him in any of these teams we're talking about, if you put Bam in the Lakers, if you put Bam in the Spurs, if you put Bam in the Rockets, if you put Bam in the Thunder, they're instant title favorites. Not title contenders, title favorites. It's because Bam Adebayo does everything you need. He's a 6'9" versatile power forward and center who can guard multiple positions from point guard to center. He's also a guy that is not selfish with the ball. He doesn't need the ball in his hands at all times. He's a perfect pick and roll screener. He's a perfect pop and play player. He's a guy that does every little thing that you need. And he's also a guy who, gets paid a lot of money, but doesn't need to be the best offensive player. He does all the little things. He's a perfect complementary player. That's why if you trade for Giannis, if you trade for Kevin Durant, you want to leave Bam Adebayo on this team. He's the perfect player to put next to a superstar player. But the problem with Bam, he's not the perfect number 2 option. We've seen that with Jimmy Butler. We've seen that in title runs, especially in the 2023 the playoff run. The Heat didn't have Tyler Hero. Jimmy and Bam were their best players, and a lot of nights offensively, Bam just wasn't there. So Bam is the perfect number 3 role player. I've said this so many times. Bam is a perfect mix of Dennis Rodman and Horace Grant, that number 3 type of player. So if the Lakers want Bam Adebayo, they're going to have to add a lot of draft capital to that BS trade offer. And the Lakers don't really have a lot. You know, they have their pick for 2025. They have a 2026 pick, but they can really just offer the Miami Heat about 2 to possibly 3 future first round draft picks. And it's really not going to be that great. A team that I'm looking at, first and foremost, if you want to trade Bam, you got to send him to the West. I'm looking at Houston. Houston can give the Miami Heat so many draft picks, so many young assets. That's the type of team I would be looking to trade for. Like I've said this before, the Heat are going to be in the open market testing some of these players, and they're going to be battling against teams like OKC and Houston. So I'd be cool with giving Bam to one of those teams if they're willing to give up the world. Because a team like Houston, who just got bounced by the Golden State Warriors, showed you what type of team they are. They're a young, fun regular season team. But when it comes to the nitty-gritty time in the playoffs, They're not experienced enough. Bam Adebayo, a player who's been to the NBA Finals twice, who's had multiple long playoff runs, can help a team contend right away. 27 years old at the perfect age. I don't want to trade Bam. I'm saying this again. I don't want to trade Bam. But this is a scenario where if you're rebuilding and you're trying to get as much draft capital possible, where you can't land a superstar player and you don't want to run this team back next year. I said this before, you guys. If you can move Tyler and Bam for a complete total of 6 to 7 future first round draft picks, why wouldn't you entertain that idea if you're rebuilding? They're your 2 players with the most assets. And then you can build around Kel'el Ware, Jaime Jaquez, Nikola Jovic, Davion Mitchell. You can let these young kids like Josh Christopher, Keyshawn Johnson, Pallel Larson, and Isaiah Stevens flourish for one season. And then after 2026, you're going to have a huge amount of flexible cap space where you can go after multiple players. Build a new team. So let me know what you think, Heat Nation. First and foremost, what do you think about this dog shit of an offer that apparently is going viral? Let me know what you think about that. But let me know, do you think there's actually a doable trade that you would do with the Lakers? I mean, obviously they're not going to trade Luka, but I really don't see any other players. You know, there's Rui Hachimura, Dorian Finney-Smith. I just don't see the Lakers having a good enough package to get Bam. I don't think so. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. We're pushing to 6,000 subscribers. Thank you guys. And until next time, your boy Ernest out. And that's enough said.